So in this video, I'm going to make a Swift application. I want to turn this into like an Instagram app. I don't know if I'll do the server side and the API. Probably I do later. I'll add Firebase. I don't know yet. But something that I wanted to do, make this a really beginner app. Basically, like if you have no program experience at all, I'll try to explain a little bit what is an int, an array, and a string, a double, and a float. So if you don't have Xcode, you could go to the App Store and download Xcode. Right, go there, Xcode. You could just download it there, and if you do, just open it. Let's create a new project. Okay, new application, or you could just say next and then select one. Select app, next, double click on site. Let's put like YT, a YouTube, Swift for beginner. Yeah, this if you don't have a team, this you probably have one, so you could select yours. Here you could put whatever you want. This is the name of my company. You could just put like deque and your name or whatever you want. It will look something like this. The bond identifier. Choose storyboard because we're not gonna be working with Swift UI. Instead of Objective C, use Swift. You know this. You could just leave it as is. Select the folder where you want to store it. Swift for beginners. I recorded this video early on this morning, and the mic wasn't working. So now I'm doing it again. So if you do it twice, you do it better. You create the project. You could save it wherever you want, your desktop or anywhere. So this is your bundle identifier, you see. So let's run this. Before anything, I like to have this. I always like to set it up like this, even for work. Then gives me the space. Or sometimes when I use the dual monitor, then I don't do it like this. But for recording purposes, this you could just close it here. If you don't know, if you're not so familiar with Xcode, close this here. This is the view controller. Basically, this is a class of name view controller and a subclass UI view controller, but this you can name it to whatever you want, and then you have build it load here. So right now, hold on. Let me run this on the iOS 13. You could pick any, like if you click here, if you have an older version of Xcode, this is probably like right here, and this part's not here, and then you have a stop button, but this is the newest version. Xcode 13 was with 5, and let me just choose iOS, iPhone 13. Yeah, this is what I'm using. I don't want to keep opening more and more. Yeah, you see the outputs are just loading. I don't want that. So right here, the application just loaded. It's a white screen because we haven't done anything. So if you remove this comment, and you put a view background color equal, you want color the red. If you want, you could just do like red or purple, whatever you want. If you're a beginner, I suggest you get used to doing UI color. Then yeah, this is better because you know what the property is part of, what is the subclass of. So if you run this background, it's going to turn purple. So what we're saying that this view controller, which is this view, right view, background, color purple. Okay, this is the app delegate. Basically, this is the first class or file that is run before the application start running. So if this is wrong, the application will break, and these two are created automatically. In this one, this is the main storyboard, but we're not going to use storyboard here. I don't like that. So basically, in this scene delegate, so we're going to create a new scene, right? A new scene is that we telling that application we're gonna be running everything programmatically. So basically, if you're not familiar with Xcode, what this means is that this variable we won't be using like. So right here, if this is true, it'll run everything else. If it's not, it's just gonna return and nothing's gonna happen. So we could remove this and be like window scene, right? So we're creating this thing. It's a guard. It's like a guard, right? It's guarding. It's like guarding the door. Hey, let window scene equal to this. If it's not, you probably see this a lot. So this and if it's not, return. But to be more clean, you could just click Command C, and you could just put it back to a normal state, right? Look like this, one line of code, and then you could use this window, which is an optional. We're gonna use it right now. So you like window equal UI window because it's part of UI kit. So you see right here, we import a UI kit, and then we're gonna create a window with a new scene, and we're going to use this scene right here. Then we're going to make the window the make key possible. What this is saying is, hey, this window is gonna take over now. Oh, I forgot to add the equal here. If you don't add the equal, Xcode will yell at you. Here you see, like, if you right click on this function right here, show quick, this will give you a good documentation. It'll be good if you learn how to read the documentation to show the you see, show the window and make it a key window. So you make it a priority window. If you click it there, it'll give you this is the whole Apple documentation. It is good as a developer if you learn how to read this, because every programming language and third-party API, they have documentation, so you know. So let's say window view controller. Let's set it equal to UI view controller. Hold on, to view controller. Let's see what happens. So my whole plan, okay, yeah, I'm gonna show you, yeah, similar to what I have in the other one. This is what I did earlier. Nah, never mind. I removed something by mistake. So, but let me see if I could run it. If I find it and I could run it, that'll be great. I don't know where it is, so never mind. So right now to this, we're gonna add a navigation bar, just like the navigation bar right here. So we could just do, okay, right here, le nav controller equal UI navigation controller of type of view controller, and then we could copy this, Command C, and copy, and then we just set this equal to this. Let's see what happens. So, okay, you see, because this is not scrollable and iOS 15 has a new feature, we're gonna fix this. But something, let me tell you, like, if you're new to Swift, you in a lot of places, you see that we use let, and sometimes bar. What bar means is like, hey, this is declared here, but we're not giving any value. We're just declaring the type, and then because it's an optional with the here, the bank operator, that question mark right here, you see it declare like this. This is not equal to this, because if you do it, Xcode will yell at you. See, like right here. So you have to do like something like this, but it give you an optional. That means that it could be empty, but because it's a bar, we could just use here Windows equal, and then we give it this value that we are initiating it with this Windows scene delegate. If this were a let, it wouldn't let you, like it wouldn't let you do this right here. Watch. See, cannot assign property with bar. I mean, you could just click here to bar, and it will fix it. But sometimes it's good for you to read the error and try to figure it out. If you understand it, you can just do it and fix it. So let's fix so because we want to show the navigation bar there as it's like right here is white, but we could be like, let me just do this real quick. Let me just open, because I want to show you what I did earlier. Yeah, let me just run this so you know what I could show you the end project. Okay, yeah. Now let me just stop it, and then I could close this. So basically, we're going to create this exactly. You know, we're gonna use a table view cell. This is the navigation. I mean, you could change it to whatever color you want, like. and that. So I'm going to explain all this little by little. It will probably take some time, but I want to go step by step. If this is the first time you're starting to programming in Swift, or you learn in Swift, I mean, this is gonna be like a really beginner video. So let's appearance equal UI navigation appearance, and then we're going to set this appearance the standard. No, I was supposed to do nav controller the navigation bar the standard appearance, yeah, equal to appearance, and then nav controller the navigation the scroll. And this appearance we gotta configure with the opaque background. So basically what we're doing here, we're telling the view to this view right here to show the navigation bar even if we're not scrolling at all. It's a new iOS 15 feature that Apple added, because sometimes like you see a lot of view nowadays that you could just scroll and it shows the navigation and it hides it. So it gives you, I think, more control of the entire stack. So let's see now, you see this here. Yeah, so you could just tint it to whatever color, you know. Nice navigation, key for editing. There's I'm gonna do on the navigation controller. I'm not going to edit anything. Maybe I'm put a blue, but like I said, I'm doing this here, but you should be using UI color and get used to that. Well, what is it? See, I think it's the background color. They should supposed to be changing. Weird. Yeah. I'll look to this and check why. But yeah. Okay, now what we're going to do, let's create a new class. Let's leave this one here. Well, let's first of all create new groups, which is folders. Let's call it controllers. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on trying to fix the tint color. Sometimes you have to add more property and play around more with the new Apple configuration, the appearance. But we could figure it out later as we go on. And then let's do cells. So basically we're going to group this controller. We could just bring it in there. It's good. I mean, it's more organized, because when you have 2 and 3 controllers, it's fine. But when you have hundreds or thousands, like I do, my job is crazy. So inside this, we're going to inside this folder. We're going to create a new file. We'll type Cocoa Touch, which, and then yeah, let's create a UI table view controller, and then let's call it message. Yeah, let's table view, like message view controller. We could use message table view controller, but I think that'll be just fine. Excuse me. Yeah, inside that. So we have it right here. Oof. A lot of this we won't use it. So you know what? Let's do something. You could have all this, but let me just remove it. F that. Yeah, we're gonna write a lot of those code anyways. Oh. We're gonna write it, but let's do it from the beginning. So let's do number of, okay, we have sections and we have number of row in section. We're going to use number of row in section, and I'll show you what it is. Section, it could be like A, B, H, T, and V, right? In row, the row in section is like John, K, Anna, blah, blah, blah. It's whatever it is inside those. And each of those are cells, right? So we're going to use number of row in section, and then we could just return 5. How do I know I could return 5? Like right here, this means it's an integer. Like, hey, this returns an integer. which mean could be integers number or an int, most likely. Let's say an int is used for age. You could use it for year or like number of people, you know, because you're not gonna say, hey, there's 5.5 people, you know. So if I put like 5.5 or put 5.7 here, Xcode will give you start yelling, hey, you cannot convert type of double to return int, which this is a double, and most likely we use doubles and floats for when it's like any number with a decimal for like currency, like money, you know, or like temperature or anything like that you want to do some calculation, and it has a decimal, and a decimal is any number as a point and a 0 or 5 or whatever it is. So number 5, and then we do cell for index path a row, which what this is meaning is like, hey, we're going to deque, right, each cell for the index path. So this where it says John, please, this is a cell, it could have a picture like you see it, and we're gonna be building like right here, right, this is a cell, this entire, the avatar, my name and my homies and all that, and you could add a bunch of other stuff as you see in WhatsApp or messengers, Instagram and whatever. So here we do last cell equal tableView, right? You say where tableView comes from, hold on, like this tableView, I was saying tableView, right? And then we're gonna say tableView, I see, right? This tableView, or you could just write it, but I'm just trying to, and you want to get this one deque cell with identifier. So the identifier takes a type of string. So the index path, right? For index path is this one. You could just copy and paste it, or you could just write it. And let's declare a cell right here. Let's do private because we don't want nothing to have access to this. We do private let cell ID equal, because it's a string, it's supposed to be inside quotes, and you could just copy and paste, or you could just write it like cell ID, and then you could just paste it right here, and it doesn't give you any problem. It's not like if you could put 5 or Jella, you're like, hey, supposed to take a string, you see, I cannot convert type of string to a string. So cell ID, and then here you click on, then you return cell, because this is what it's asking, right? Hey, this is what it's telling you, right? This right here, return a UI tableView cell. So now let's create a function, right? If you see, this is a function, open brackets, close the brackets, open brackets, close the bracket. And this one right here that has bracket, you see, I see mark, this is gonna mark like, hey, this is where the classes start. This is a class name, and this is what the subclass of, and Beauty loads the first function that when you open this view is what it's called. Whenever you call messages, it's going to open this. Hey, when this say, hey, when the view loads, okay, call this function at any time instead of it. So we're going to create a function. You see, after you can only you cannot create a function like right here inside, like function, let's say 1, and then you hardly gonna see that, like, hell. The proper way for you to create a function is differently, right? You're not gonna see that. You could just see like outside of here. So function, then set up tableView. I wanted to name it this way. You see, this the name, always the name follow with close parenthesis, open and close parenthesis, and the open curly brackets, because I'm gonna set up the collection view, and then you see this. I'm just calling this function right now. This is what it means. Hey, inside of this function, I call this function. If I could create another function, let's say func1, the open curly bracket, and it's a function that runs inside of this function with anything with any functionality. I could just call it here. It will still call it anyways. So make sure you just know, like, you could call a function anywhere, but most likely in build load, or you could just call like here, create a function, set up functions, and then you could have 1, 2, 3, a bunch of them. So we say tableView because this inherit from tableView. Just type in from tableView controller. So you bet like a tableView register, and then you want to take this one, says cell class, any class for, and the identifier you still use the same. And remember, you cannot have like two identifier the same. Like this will yell at you, be like, hey, you know, invalid declaration because it's already two the same. I mean, you could be like one and leave this one the same because this is the value that is added to. But if you're like using a header, you could just be like header, or should I be like getter, header sol ID, and it's cool. But just make sure if you name it that, you name it here. I think it's better. And then if you wanna play around with the header and all that, this, if I do this, I mean it's not gonna yell at me. See, it's yelling here because this is empty, so we're gonna fix that now. So right here, we're using right says self class or any class. So what it means, it wants a UI table view class, so you could just be like UI table view cell, and then you put self. It's saying, hey, give me a class, register subclass of this name or this type. And for us to know if it's working, let's do cell the background color right here equal red. Let's see what happens. We should have 5 cells. Oh yeah, we're not. Okay, I know why. Copy this and come to this in delegate and right here, because we are still calling. So you want to write this, the navigation, the Ruby controller, you want to set it to this, to the messages. And if you play again, you see you have 5 cells red. And then if you go to messages right here, you could be like nav item, the title could be, just put contacts. So we put contacts, and then let's give height, you know, to each of these cells. We could give height, so we like height for, like right here it's a height for footer, height for header, section, estimate, but one with the height for index row, and this give you a float, which means you could be like return 80.5 for me, and it's fine, it's not going to yell at you. Or you could be like 80.0, or you could be like 80. Like if you leave 80, you see, because it's not going to return you. Like it's not gonna be yelling at you like, hey, you did this wrong. Well, you could be like 80.0, whatever you like. Okay, let's see. If it's a flow, it's always good to write it like this, to put a 0.0. That means it's good to get into the habit, because anybody that comes and just by looking at it, okay, this is returning a float or a double. If you see, okay, now instead of self background, we could just, because this is a subclass of this right now, we're going to create a custom, but this kind of has some properties already. So it could be like text label, right here. If you see a text label, the text equal to, let's say, testing. So this should give me 5 cells saying testing. See, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here is a contact, right? The navigation title. You can name it to whatever you like. Okay, so I think we're kind of looking a little bit like this already, right? So now let's do this. Okay, if you're not familiar with arrays, let's do an array of contacts. We're gonna create an array. It's gonna be named contacts, plural with an X, equal to, you're gonna open those 2 curly brackets, right? Those square brackets, and then you're gonna like this, right? Open and close parenthesis, and inside of here you could have an int, which will be an array of int, could be an array of numbers, like a bunch of different numbers, or because we're gonna be using, for now we're gonna be strings. This kind of saying that, hey, this is going to have a bunch of different strings, an array. So like right here, because because it's a bar, right? We created an empty array. Let me show you. If we take this contacts, because an array is like a list of things, like messages, like all your messages are arrays, like your list of contacts and emails. I mean, the feed is a list of the object of posts, like on Instagram, Facebook, any app. So here we're gonna say, hey, contacts, right? So .count. So what I'm saying right here is like, hey, whatever me some space. Whatever items are in this array of strings, give me the count. And for each of them, just give me one of these cells, right? Give me a cell for each of them. If I have 1,000, 1,000. Because think about it, when you get a new message, like a new contact that you added, it just adds to the list, and there's no somebody manually adding like, hey, like here, like imagine that for all the millions and billions of users, there's like, okay, this person added a contact, so now it's 11. But then he added another content, then it's 12. No, this is like automatic. This is gonna be automatic. As long as you keep adding more to this array dynamically, this list is going to keep growing. So like right now, and then let's do this contact, right? And then open bracket, and use the index path dot row. Which index path is this index path? So what I'm saying right here, and this like, hey, for every index, like for every item inside of this contacts list, like each row, you could say row or item. Basically the same thing. Let's leave it item. You could do row or item. I want to set that property equal to this text label, which is gonna be the text label here. So we're going to go through, iterate through the number array. So if the count is equal to 5, this is going to deque the cell 5 times, and it's just gonna keep adding more and more and more. So let's see right now what happens. So now we don't have nothing because we haven't added nothing to the array. It's an empty array. You could do it like this, like you could declare like, okay, let's say beginner, boom, and you could declare the array like this, and just remember you have to add a parenthesis. I mean a comma, you have to add a comma, and just add again quotes, and you could do 1, 2, 3, and then, but remember to keep each of them is a different item. Like every time after the comma is a different item. We could do it like that, or we could do it, leave it like that as is, right? And you could just be like contact. You could be like append new element, which we could append it like that, or we could just like contact equal to this, right? Let me say gender. Let's see what happens. Probably gonna name my homies right here, and see, gender's 1. Then let me name my homie Geo. Okay. So if you think of this, you have 4 for a list of items. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. Simple as that. You could also change the name of those lines. You could get like tableView, the separator color equal UN color. Put black. Could put gray, green, whatever you like. See, this line is black now, it's darker, and you're able to scroll because the tableView gives you the option to scroll right away. Earlier, you see when we had this view controller doesn't give you the ability to scroll right away. You kind of have to implement it if you're using a tableView. I mean a view controller, but if you're using a tableView controller, it gives you scrollable because it knows you're going to display a list of items, and scrolling will be a good feature to have. So now let's create a cell. So we could do our own custom cells and start playing more with it. Yeah. Okay, and then we could just be like contact cell. Oh, yeah, you could do inside a cell. Let's do one thing here. I said messages, and then I'm putting contacts. Let me just rename this, right? If you right click here and then you refactor and you want to rename it, sometimes it takes a while, but this will name it everywhere you did it. Contact. And remember, because this is a class, that a class always start with a capital letter. You can rename. If you see contacts, rename here, and also it should be renamed right here instead of messages. Please close in, and then yeah, let's reopen it again. Okay, now we have a new contact cell. Let's remove this. I don't want to deal with that. It'd be like init, and then let's use this one, init style. It'll be like super dot init. You say style, which is this style, which is if I do it fast, it's like you double click, right? Command C to copy and Command V to paste. So Command C to copy. Command V to paste. So that's why I do it so fast. Oh, and Command X is to kind of cut like this. Or you could just like right here you could see, oh, if you want to cut it, be like. So let's create a function right here. It's called a function setup constraints. And good, copy and paste here and open and close parenthesis, right? So basically I'm creating this function because we're going to create a few properties. Okay, yeah, this is yelling because you need to have this in it encoded, blah blah blah. Yeah, if you do Command B as in boy, it'll just build in your code way. So I create the function because constraints is basically how we're gonna place this, right? Like if I show you this right here, right? I'm using constraint to put this right here in this position, and then this, you know, I could add it more to the side, So first of all, let's create a label for the name, the username label. You could do whatever you want, and like I said, everything will be programmatically. UI label, right, equal, open, closing bracket. So this is basically I'm creating a function, and inside this function is going to be a label, right? And create this function to declare of video type label. So here be like label because it makes more sense to me, and they be like UI label. Then you gotta always return the label because this is what this function is doing. So be like label for testing now. Let's just do like text. It'll be like new label. And always remember to do label the translate out the right resizing mass into constraints and set this equal to false. If you miss this, the constraints, because we add it manually and more dynamically, it won't work. And this needs to be equal to false. So this, you always need to remember to write this and get into the habit, because you have like a label, a bunch of other stuff, just don't be copy and pasted, even if you have to only label. Try to write it so it gets stuck into your brain and you know. So let's create also, no, okay, let's create it here. Let avatar image of type of UI image view. So if you see everything, because we're using UI kit, everything's like UI table view controller, UI image view, UI label, you could say UI button, you know, or UI search bar, and like that. So, but this is an image, so we're gonna be like let iv image view equal to UI image view, and always return. Oh, I tried return twice because I said it. Return iv, right? So now let's like if I run this right now, it won't do nothing at all. It will stay the same as it was, right? Put level on label. Let's do things first. Let's go into the contact view controller. Now let's copy this name, Command C. Let's go here and let's remove this UI table view cells, and let's replace it for that for contact cells, contact cell dot self, because they say, hey, register this cell, the cell that we created that we want to use, and here we want to be used as with a bang operator and as contact cell. So what we're saying, hey, deque this cell, right? Create this deque cell as part of this, and we use as with this bang operator saying, hey, if it is not part of this, just crash the app to close, it won't work. So this is making sure, like in some places you might see like this, and for other things like with this, which is an option, I'll say, hey, do this, otherwise just keep running, it's not a problem. But because here because here it's not like an optional thing, like hey, you don't see this, you have to make it, it has to be like 100% part of this. So this only in this part of it. So even, let me see if I run it now. Yeah, if I run it now, what happens? See, it runs good. I mean, you could do, let me close this, I keep getting control. Like even here you could be like here you don't have to view the background color. Here you could just say like background color, because you're already saying that hey, a cell is a view, so you don't have to declare view the background, and then you be like hey, UI color the yellow, and it should turn the background color to yellow of the cell, only the background of each cell, you know. So, but if we move that yellow to brighty. So let's start placing this. Let's place that image, right? Yeah, let's place that image. So avatar image. Now first of all, wanna add subview avatar image, right? What this is saying, like hey, this is telling Xcode like hey, add this avatar image, right? This avatar image as part of this subview, as part of this view, like this view right here. Hold on and up. Okay, yeah. Let me remove this because yeah, I don't want this to be, I don't know that. So let's run it and let's make sure that it's clean. You don't have to delete it. I deleted it because I want to be able to see this is blank right now. So when I add subview, I want to, what I'm saying like, hey, add this avatar image as part of this subview of it, as a subview of it. So we'd be like avatar image, the center Y, the constraint equal to center Y. And always remember is active equal to truth. So what I'm saying right here is like, hey, right, take the avatar image, right, the center Y, which is the vertical line, and set it equal to the center view, right, the center vertically of this view right here. So it's like, hey, it's not, I'm saying horizontal, no, it's vertical because it's Y. So this is going to be placed exactly in the center of this right here, because avatar image, right, take that vertical center of this and put it in the center of this. And then we want to give, because an image, you want to give a width constraint of equal. You see the difference? This is equal to a constant. That means it's a number and it's a flow. If it's not a constant, it's a property like to another. If you want to set it to another constraint, then you get this equal to whatever constraint, which is the equal. But if you want to set it to a number, you have to be there. So let's do 60, yeah. And it's active equal to truth. And we could do the same for the height. Avatar image height constraint equal is a constant of 60, and then it's active equal to truth. So let's see what happened right now. Oh, nothing's happened, but it should be there, because if you be like IB the background color equal, put the gray, put green, green, whatever. We're not getting there. Okay, let's put a, yeah, why are we calling this? Okay, let's add an image, right? To add an image, you come to the assets folder right here, and then let's look for this image. And you could just like, you could look for any image, like this image I got it from Google. You could just download it. Just remember to have like a simple name, so you probably copy the name and you paste it. You just drag it here, or you could drag it from your desktop or whatever. And then let's do, right, remember this, you drag the image from whatever folder, anywhere you have it, you just bring it and you just drag it from there to here, like boom, you just drag it there and that's it. No problem, no biggie. Drag it and the image is right here. Then you come back to your contact cell, and let me go to IV the image, right, image view image equal UI image. Parentheses, and you start typing name. It takes a string, so open and close your quotes. So like this, you see, like if you type here, say UI bar image, right? It's type of UI image. So it's this. That's why I say UI image name. This is the name of my image, and let's see what I get now. Why my image? Okay, this is weird. How about the? Oh, you see what I told you earlier. Don't forget this. I was just telling you, and I forgot it myself. ib.translate. This is good to happen because I'm like, okay, I changed the background, didn't work. I changed the image, and it's because I was missing this. So that's why you always gotta remember. Now I should have the image there. It's a square. You see, it's all the way over there. So why not just put like avatar image dot leading constraints, and then equal. We could just say leading, right? It's active equal to truth. There's two of this. I mean, you could have leading or you could have like left. I prefer like leading. Leading is the latest that Apple started using, and I think it adapts more to newest phone and a different priorities phone. So I'm always trying to use leading and trailing. Trailing for the right side and leading. So you see, okay, it's to the left, but it's the other way. Sometimes you could do right here, like comma, you will like constant, and you could just add a value that you want to add to the side. So I want to put 16. So basically what this is saying, like, hey, take this avatar image and from the left, push it 16 pixel to the right. Because if you put negative 16, it's gonna push it more to the left, and you, as you see, it's like places more nicely now. And then like if you have the image like this square and you want to have it rounded, make sure that your height and your width is the same size, and then you come here, you be like ib dot layer dot corner radius, right, equal to 30, because the corner radius, it has to be exactly the half of this. If it's not, it's gonna give you a little, you can play with number and figure out yourself why. Let's see what happened. Still square, yeah. I knew that was gonna happen because I forgot to add the clips to bounds equal to truth. And what this is saying is that, hey, the aspect of this image is going to change. So yeah, allow it. Now it should be a circle. You see? Boom, a nice circle. If I add this to 70 and this to 70, I need to add this to 35. It needs to be exactly the half. You know, you could do that. If you don't want to deal with a lot too, you could just be like private LED image size or type of CG float. Let's cast it to that equal to 70, right? Or if you take this, and then you be like boom, divided by 2. Then you could do that, and then here you could just add this and do this, and I think okay, so if I do this, oh, because one says flow, the other one's type of CG flow. Okay, wanted to, you see, it made me do it like this, and it's probably gonna make me do it like, oh, I know why. Yeah, if I, okay, so I do this, I put as a receive, because it was written this more as an int. Then this one, if the MSI cannot be. Okay. You see the screaming at me saying that you cannot read this inside of this and blah blah blah. There's ways around it, but I'll show you later. Let's leave it as you have it. It's better because I'm gonna get into a little bit more complex stuff and I don't want to get you confused, but that was a good try, even though I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna work. After I did it, I was like, oh shit, it's not gonna work inside of this, that way that I was doing it. So basically, oh, I open and close it too quick, like if I'm not trying to record a video. So it's what we have. Now let's add the avatar name right here in the center. You could write it at the top, on the bottom, but let's do it in the center. So you probably have an idea of this, because you could be like, first of all, add subview, because we want to add it to the subview, and then username label, right? Even though, like, if you want, you should need to need the order you're gonna do. You could use this and have a bunch of, like, if you have a bunch of them, different ones, right? Of course, and just having the order, or you could just do it like this, and I could do the rest here. But I prefer to just have it like this, and be like username label, the center Y, right? Constraints. Guess where I'm gonna put a center Y? It could be equal to avatar image the center. Excuse me, Y equal to true. Because why am I using here? Like here I'm using view because I'm center this view. I'm centering this image right into the center of this cell, right in between from there to there. But I want to set the username label in the into the center of this avatar image. So the middle of this. I mean, I could still do it like this, and I don't think it'll change anything. Which let's leave it that way. Or if you could want to leave it like this and try and play around, see if you see any difference in the pixel. And then the username, the leading anchor constraint equal to, right? We're gonna say avatar, the trailing anchor does equal to active equal to true. I think this one I could leave it there because for a label, most of the time you don't have to write that width and the height of it. Just give it a try. You see, but super close, like right there. And still in the middle, you see, like if it's avatar. But if you wanna leave it, play around with it. Like I tell you, you could just play around it, or add more label, or try to put the label, or create your own design. Like you see, like here still, but this is super close to the image. So why not do the same thing as here, right? Could be like comma constant, and then let's give it. If we give it 16, let's give it an 8. Right, or you could put 80.0. But let's see what happens. You see it there now. If I put like, if you put like even here like a negative, you could put a negative number. You see how this would go like halfway inside, and the username is going to follow it. Kinda see like it's more inside. If I put like 46 minus 46. Let's see what happens. We'll see how it goes down. This because the username label is to the right side of it, so it's constrained. Just gonna keep moving around. But let's leave it back to 16 as it was. See, looking cute, new label, blah. And you see we have here the table, the navigation bar. This is looking cute, not so complex. If you want to try like adding like something to the right of this, another label, create it, or another image, or center the label. I mean, you could just do something similar to this, but let me just do it for fun. Username dot. I always try to do that and just like to be like center X. Always think about if there's a center Y, there should be a center left X. If there's a leading, there should be a trailing. If there's a left, right, there should be a right. So always like play around with it, but I'm leading, and then I'll be like constant equal to, I'll be like center X, and does equal to active equal truth. So let's comment with these two lines like this, right? If you add 2 slashes like this, it will comment. If you want to do faster, just press command and slash, or where the question mark is, boom, it'll comment there. And if you do it again, it'll comment. Just comment there, and you can, let's put that username exactly in the center. It's gonna be center X, center Y. See, like right there, you can play around with it, but I'm gonna leave it right here. I just did that. I like it more to the left. I did that for testing purposes, and but you know, you could add more stuff. Probably add another label with like the date here or something, or another name, or one a little bit at the bottom. Okay, let's do one more thing and I'll be gone. Now let's take advantage of this name, right? Because okay, cool, why we want to have new labels, and how can we, like, I don't know if you thought about how can we display this here. So inside of here context, let's create a variable. Let's call it bar because it's going to change contact, right? Contact to a type of string and optional. This means that it could be empty, open and close curly bracket for this, and then let's call this set that open. So basically what this is saying, hey, we are declaring this function, this property called contact, a type of string. So contact should be a string, and whenever this is set, I want you to username the text equal to contact. So basically what we're saying that the username text, right, this username label text has to be equal to contact, this contact right here. But now if I run it right now, nothing's gonna happen, right? Let's see, nothing happens. So why not, let's just, like, I mean here too, click like font, right? And you could be like UI font, and then that, and then you be like system font. You see, like if you want to change the font, and just put like, okay, 16, and if we UI font, like if you notice it tells you like exactly what you gotta put UI font weight, right? You be like UI font dot weight dot whatever, right? Heavy, light, medium, regular, semi-bold, right? Or you might be sometimes do something like this too, like this semi-bold or black, right? But still, if let me so still, like, because I did this, nothing's gonna change now because I already deleted the name. I mean, you could also change, remember that label, the text, you see, color, alignment, and all that good looking stuff. And color, UI color, the system, put system gray, put whatever you like. I wasn't even gonna change the color, it just came to my head. So you see, label text color, but still nothing changed because this, like if we put, like, you see this is called a breakpoint right here. So if you click it, you could just drag it out, or could you click line 14. I put on line 14 because I want to make sure when I run the code, let's see what happens. Let's run Xcode and see what happens if it doesn't get called. No, you know why this is not being called? Because we're not taking advantage of it right here. Let's create some space. So if we go here, so the contact, right, equal to contact, open bracket, index path, dot row or item, as I said, your choice, or just read and see what's the difference. Try to find out the value of a row element, the index path, and then we do item. What should it be? The value of the item and the index path. Okay, so this contact right here, right? If I click here, right click, and I say jump to definition, it brings me here, right? If I comment this, watch what happens. So don't act stupid, because if it this, if I go like cell dot contact, if you see why it's not happening, don't get ahead of yourself. Go declare it first. Come here, you declare it, and once you declare it here, Xcode is smart enough. Be like cell.contact is right there, and it tells you context type of string right here. You see, as we declare it. So let's see what happens if it calls the breakpoint now, and also if it gives you the contact name. Yes, you see, breakpoint. And if you come here, right here, self, you see, you go look, contact has a name, and if you right click and you print description, look right here, boom. And then if you click on this one right here, right, you say continue, boom, it's gonna be again, and there's another one, it's my nigga G, and you can just print it, and if you get again, my nigga D, and then it's my nigga Ventura right there, and then boom. So what this is saying is, right, every time one of these cells was being called, right, it's gonna hit this breakpoint. Breakpoint I use more for debugging, like, hey, you created a function, let's say, let me comment this, right? Let me see why it's not showing my, let's say it's not showing this view, okay, let me put a breakpoint to see when this function is being called. And I'm like, okay, hey, but what happened? This function not being called. Then I'm looking around. Oh yeah, it's because it's commented or it's not there. It's like it's moved, you know. So you put it, and then, sorry, when you run the app again, you'll see that, oops, it called a function right there. So you could just like, boom, take it away. Okay, continue, good. You can drag this down. You see like all the people there, and it does look a little bold, but if you want to add it like normal, you see, where is it? Oh, regular, I think it is. Yeah. Check how the font changes, because black is like very bold. So look at that. You see, it depends however you want. And then like if you want to play around with image, go image, the layer, the no, border, right? Border color, like UI color. Here you need to UI colors are red, and then type of CG, because if you go to the quick definition, you see type of color is a CG color right here. So you gotta be UI color, the whatever color you like, and then of type of CG. Otherwise, it's going to scream at you. If you don't believe me, check it right now. Cannot assign UI color to type of CG. So you be like type, and then you be like CG color, and then we could be like ib dot layer dot border width, right? Let's give it a type of 5, but you could be like 1, 2, whatever. So I'm putting 5 because I want it to show it very much. Boom, you see? Probably the one small line. Probably going too fast, and just notice. Look at the red. Probably explaining this super fast. Okay, so let's leave this on. Okay, so basically let's review. First of all, today we created a new project. First thing you always do when you create a project, you run it, make sure that it runs. Once it ran, we created 2 folders, one type of cell, one for the cells, one for the controllers. Then we check the scene delegate, everything looks okay. Then we checked the app delegate, then we went to the scene delegate. We created this new review controller, right? Here it was like this, so you don't forget. Then we created this, we created a new scene, right? We gave it a name, scene, and then we could declare this new window. We make the key possible. We play around a little bit with the appearance, the navigation controller. We set it as a review controller. This, if you name your controller differently, then it should be different, or whatever. We set the appearance, and then as we set this to the view controller. So we did this, so we're able to manipulate. We have control over this view controller, and we could take advantage of doing everything programmatically. In here, we just, this class of contact view controller of subclass UI table view controller, we declare this private cell ID, which we are using it to register the cell and deque the cells right here. We make sure that using number of row in section. It's a mistake that I did a lot, and I didn't know a lot about the difference, because you could be like number of section, and then you see like you could just have it like this too. You could be like return 5, and you could be like, oh, but it looks the same. No, this is the number of rows in section. This is number of sections. So if we're not using section, don't do it. Then we call this function cell for row the index path. So we created this cell with the keyword. We're using the cell ID that we use is unique in the contact cell. Also, we gave the cells heights, a height of 80, so we have enough room to play around with the properties. Then we created this contact cell or UI table view cell subclass. We created this avatar property, a label property. We used the super style and reusable identifier in it. And just make sure you follow everything as it is, man. I hope this was helpful. I know it took a long time, but this is really for beginners. So I'm just trying to work on a project with my friend, and I told him I'll just record the video as I show him how to program, and as he keep learning more, and I'll put it on YouTube so people could benefit from it. If you friend with the channel, go like, share it, subscribe, follow the social media. Same name as always, Chandler Ramos, and leave me any comments or anything, or what you think I should take this project towards. My whole mindset is to take it towards like Instagram, right? Next week or next video, I'm going to add that top bar at the bottom, which the top bar is something like this, having multiple file top bar like this, just like Instagram, and just keep building from there as we go slowly. So this is my whole plan. Like, just try to, probably I add the top bar, I added more. I want to add an object next time, so I'll add the top bar and object, so you guys start getting familiar with object-oriented programming. And we talked there about int, more, strings, float, and double, and then how we could take how can we create an object of a person. So each person will have their own name, but also their own avatar and whatever other things you want to add to it. Just like messages, or like your friends or your social medias messages, or WhatsApp, or your contact list, that you could add a different avatar for a different. So we're gonna create an object of a person object, which will have a name and an avatar. And we'll probably add like a date, like date added or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, take care.